sat in the studio and said, South Africa has come to Ghana. It was on a particular issue of livestock nutrition and how we can better it in Ghana, Nigeria, West Africa and beyond. Today, I am very proud to announce once again that South Africa has visited Ghana for exchange of knowledge, because these people tell me they are practicing intensive system of farming and I tell them it's a lie. Come home and see a typical intensive system of farming. And so Johan, my guest for today, is going to do justice to this discussion. He is a veterinary officer with close to 2 decades of experience in this field. So I have a lot of questions for him. If you also have some questions on your mind, let's engage under the comment section, because even after this production, I'm still going to have access to him so that we can all learn together, get the right knowledge for this industry we are in. My name is Nadia and I especially welcome you to Farming in Africa YouTube channel. If you are watching this on Facebook, we love you. We are also on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Follow us, because the knowledge we are giving out there to help you to do this livestock agribusiness right, it's mind-blowing. This is a typical example. Hi, Johan.
Hello, Nadia.
Another welcome to you.
Thanks for having me.
To Ghana.
Thanks.
To Accra.
Yeah. Interesting town.
What is interesting about it so far to you?
No, I've spoken to some people last night, and all the cultural history that comes from what they've told me and so forth. It's quite interesting and to see what's going on.
Is this your first time in Ghana?
Yes, first time Ghana, yeah.
So what are some of the expectations you came here with? What mental picture did you have in mind coming to Ghana?
Yeah, I did a little bit of research beforehand, so
obviously.
But I'm very, very interested to see how you actually farm your goats.
Okay.
Your setups, your management systems, feeding, and obviously from a veterinary point of view, disease control and parasite control.
Nice.
I'm very interested to see how you're doing it.
I am also interested to see how everything pans out this week. He has literally told us his field. So let's zoom straight into the discussion. If anybody is watching us, Johan, who are you? Who is Johan? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a veterinarian in South Africa. As I said, as she said, it's almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
I've started out in a small animal clinic, actually a mixed animal clinic, and my interest just grew, and I'm more doing livestock, small and large animals, and wildlife.
And wildlife.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There is something you said about a mixed animal. What is that?
Yeah, it's just mixed animal tractors, we call it in South Africa. It's where you do cats and dogs and small animal, companion animals, and obviously horses are part of that as well, companion animals. And the livestock industry on the other side, and some wildlife industry.
And some wildlife. When you told me about the wildlife, my ears went hoo hoo. I can't wait to get your experience from that. So going straight into today's discussion in your field of veterinary medicine, am I right?
Yeah.
Great. You've come to Ghana at a very rainy time. In fact, as we speak, guys, it is raining. So even if they want to leave the studio, it's not possible. It is raining heavily. And as a veterinary officer, there is something you said when we were chatting earlier about how this season encourages parasites and their cycles. And it sounded like, farmers would struggle a bit with this season. Let's start this discussion on that.
Okay. Well, if you look at the life cycle of your internal parasites, roundworms, nematodes, they've got about, the average life cycle time is about a month and a half. But as soon as you get a rainy or very high humid and hot seasons, the life cycles quickens, because the time spent outside the host, the larvae hatches quickly out of the eggs that's dropped from the adult worms in the feces. So the larva hatches quicker. Humidity makes them stimulate that hatching, and so your life cycle gets shorter. So next generation of infective
Yes.
larvae
Yeah.
is quicker, and so the parasite load gets just enhanced.
So basically, they thrive most when there is
Definitely.
humidity, when there is a lot of rain and
Humidity
heat.
and heat.
And heat.
Yeah.
So these two factors,
Yes.
humidity and heat.
Yeah.
Well, now this is the season of humidity and heat. Johan, what can we do as farmers?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of protocols and methods we use to control parasites. Obviously internal, to if you treat the adult worms within the host, to lessen the amount of eggs that's being laid,
Yeah.
in the that gets expelled in the feces. And then there are some other methods we use to control the parasite outside the host. It's to pick up feces, for instance, or I know the farming system you use, they get housed on slats,
Yeah.
and that feces needs to be collected and disposed of properly, so those infective larvae that's
Yes.
in that manure
Yes.
Doesn't infect the pastures. Everybody thinks it's a good thing. Yeah, we've got something to fertilize the
Yeah,
pastures
manure,
with.
compost.
But yes, but that manure needs to be composted really good, so that infective larvae doesn't infect the fields that the animals graze on.
Wow. Wow.
And the type of grazing you do to lessen the exposure to the infective larvae is also something we can control.
The type of grazing.
The time of grazing.
Time of grazing.
Rotational grazing.
Yeah.
Different fields.
Yeah.
With different species.
Yes.
We can rotate with that. So
Beautiful.
There are a few methods we can use to lessen the amount of infective larvae that the animals actually do get.
This is just the tip of the iceberg for the education we've got coming your way. You realize he mentioned rotational feeding. When you finally visit the Sementia Learning and Development Farm, you would see what we technically call paddocks.
Yes.
And if you are in the industry, especially for those of us who have been in it for a while now, it's easy to think this is common knowledge, Johan. But I share the story always of a farmer who visited our farm from the western side of Ghana. Okay. He came to the farm, saw it's a model farm just on a small piece of land, and he said that when I see the way you people have demarcated your pasture, it makes me feel that I've wasted my land. So I asked him why that feeling, and then he tells me he has over 100 acres of pasture land back at home, and he has no idea that something called rotational feeding exists, something called the paddock system exists. Then we now have to go into all of the benefits of the paddock system. I have said it before, but I want my audience to hear it from you, an expert in the field, on some of the benefits of rotational feeding. Emphasize on that again for me.
Okay.
Yes.
On rotational feeding,
encourage every one of you out there. Follow Farming in Africa on TikTok, YouTube. Please, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you get a lot of knowledge. Thank you, and remain blessed.
there we have to look at not just the grass that you grow or the pasture you have. Obviously, goats feeding versus, for instance, sheep feeding is different. But the parasites of the goats and the sheep are basically the same. So rotational grazing with different species, you can't do sheep and goats together. You need to do goats and sheep and cattle or horses or something else.
But you can do goats and sheep together.
Sheep and goats, the internal parasites are basically the same.
The same, yes.
So that's interspecies rotational grazing. But then if you go to paddocks, rotation with paddocks, obviously you want the infective larvae to die.
Yes.
The time coming back to that specific paddock needs to be either short, less than 7 days, because that infective larvae, since it's out of the egg, up to the time it gets infected. If you do it less than 7 days, then the chances of infective larvae are very little. Otherwise, you need to go longer, and they can survive even for 6 months to a year as an infective larvae, depending on humidity, temperature,
factors, yes.
water,
Yes.
stuff like that. Look, that little larvae, infective larvae, can only survive. He doesn't eat while he's in the infective stage. So he's just got that amount of energy
Yes.
to go up the grass stalk and back and
Yes.
up and forth.
Yes.
So the more he does that, the less energy he has. So if you can lengthen your rotational grazing
Yeah.
till that little parasite dies,
Yeah.
you get less infection on your.
If you can lengthen your rotational grazing,
If you've got the area.
Yes, yes,
to
yes.
do it.
It is what we advocate
Yeah.
for, so I'm very happy to hear it from you as well. If you can lengthen that, that's why we advocate that demarcated. By the time they rotate all the way back to the first paddock they started grazing on, all of the, what do you call it, infective larvae,
yeah.
they would have died off, right? Is that the right term?
That's what we try to do with
Great.
rotational grazing.
You see, it's so beautiful to see that what we are practicing, what we are advocating for is the same across board. And I always tell people that Farming in Africa as a company has won the trust of the people, and we have that credibility because we don't just talk, we don't just preach about correct farming practices. You are visiting our own farm. And so it makes it easier. Yeah, it makes it easier for the people to relate to the challenges, the innovative solutions we are discovering and all of that. Anyway, Johan, we started with parasites.
Yeah.
Which other area in the veterinary field should we go to and educate ourselves on when we come to livestock?
Yeah. Obviously, disease control.
Go there for me.
There's quite a lot of diseases internationally that we try and get rid of or just lessen the impact on economics.
Yeah.
And the easiest to do it is basically vaccination.
Okay.
So if we can do the correct vaccination on the correct time, then we can control most of those diseases. And then obviously if you do still, after you've vaccinated, you do every now and then get disease. And obviously then we need medication to actually treat those diseases. And the right dose, the right medicine at the right dose, weigh your animals to see if you've got enough or if there's enough medicine in your syringe that you treat the animal with. So that's a major thing as well.
You know, Johan, you've touched on a very delicate issue for me when it comes to the issue of vaccination. I think earlier I was sharing a story with you about how we visited one of the largest livestock markets in Ghana. It's in northern Ghana. And it was a very hot, humid, sunny day. Very, very hot. When you enter the market with all of the chaos going on, nobody will tell you, get some hat to protect yourself. And then we decide to, explore. We move some few meters ahead and we see, they are usually called Fulanis, but they are typically nomads. And they are livestock farmers. We see them selling tiny, tiny bottles, claiming to be vaccines under such environment, such hot, humid environment. Please educate us first of all on what vaccines are, what keeps their potency, and how they should be kept. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we look at vaccines, we do get the odd vaccine that needn't be refrigerated. So there are the odd vaccines, but most of our livestock vaccines needs to be kept at about 2 to 8 degrees Celsius.
You heard that, right?
That's to stabilize all the compounds that's within that vaccine. Any vaccine that needs to be kept at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, that's kept at 30 degrees Celsius, you can just as well inject some water there.
Wow.
Because that vaccine has lost its function, and you won't get the right results. Then afterwards you say, yeah, but I vaccinated that animal with this and this.
Yes.
And but if you haven't done the proper safekeeping of that vaccine to make sure that the active ingredient is still viable, you just as well can just leave it.
2 to 8 degrees.
2 to 8 degrees usually.
Wow.
And what vaccines usually are made of, it's a particle of that specific virus or bacteria that gets broken down and suspended within a fluid,
Yes.
and that part of that bacteria or virus actually stimulates the immune system
Yes.
to mount an immune reaction and
Yes.
get your animals immune to that specific disease.
I am, you know, have goosebumps right now when you mentioned the 2 to 8 degrees, because definitely some of the temperatures we have seen vaccines being sold under can go as high as 35 degrees Celsius.
You can just as well leave it.
Wow, you see, he said you can just as well just inject water into the animal, because the efficacy is no more, guys. And that is why over here we actually also advocate that, especially for smallholder farmers. Sometimes we have cooperative unions in our communities, our townships, and sometimes they invite a veterinary officer who travels quite a distance to come there and vaccinate their animals. So then, as part of our training programs, we are teaching that these traveling veterinary officers keep these vaccines in ice chest to be able to maintain the temperature. Does that also work?
It does work, yes.
Great.
Ice boxes works well. There's polystyrene ice boxes with some frozen, those little frozen ice packs.
Beautiful.
It works well.
It works well, yes.
But on the other hand, everybody's traveling in vehicles nowadays, and you get small little fridges that you can plug into your car, and that keeps them at the right temperature as well.
See, the environments are different.
Yeah, but still, there's really small, nice fridges you can, and it's not expensive. It just plugs into your lighter, and you can safely travel with those vaccines.
That's beautiful. Veterinary officers who travel around in vehicles, if you can, get some small fridges like Johan has said, and keep your vaccines in them. That's amazing. Now I would move to some of the diseases that's run through this industry. For me, I was very surprised when you told me that PPR doesn't even exist in your parts of the world. I was very surprised, because to the best of my knowledge, this industry has some really common diseases that run through. Please talk about that for me.
To my knowledge, I don't know of any PPRs in Southern Africa or South Africa. I know it's a disease that we're on the lookout for, because we're afraid to bring it in, and the migration of diseases is possible. So, but to my knowledge, we don't have it in South Africa. But it's controllable. We can, with vaccines and stuff like that, we can control PPR. Other diseases like your normal clostridial diseases, black water, gas, uterine diseases, but all your clostridial bacteria, we've got good vaccinations for them. And then other stuff like your enzootic abortion, which is a real economic disease as well, not just brucellosis, but enzoic abortion. So that's especially in goats, we see it a lot, and it's also controllable by vaccines. So
I see.
Then there are a few other diseases that one can look at, but as we just spoke about, every region and every farm has got a specific diseases that troubles them more than others.
Yes, you're right.
Veterinary wise, it's always good to speak with your neighbors and see what they've got. And if you don't know what's going on, try and get the animal tested or that carcass tested.
That's true.
And find out what disease are we dealing with, so we can try and prevent that specific diseases.
Beautiful. When I meet knowledgeable people like this, I really don't want them to go. But you see, the good thing with Johan's visits is that he's going to be in Ghana for some time. And so, believe you me, this wouldn't be the first and last encounter. I will definitely catch him at the Sementia Learning and Development Farm. Over there, he would have practically had a feel of how we also operate our system of farming here. And we would definitely get his knowledge, his impression, his ideas on everything going on, so we can all collaboratively better this livestock industry. The last question I would ask him before, unfortunately, we wrap up this production is that, Johan, you told me that you would come back to Ghana again when we treat you well. I didn't forget that. I didn't. Now, before our audience, are you going to come back to Ghana? How have you been treated so far in your short stay?
Yeah, we've been here a day and a half, almost a day now. But we've been treated very well.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had a visit at one of the local diners, if I should say like that.
Okay.
And we had a good time last night. So I really appreciate the hospitality you've got.
Okay.
And everybody's friendly, and so I'll definitely come back. Yeah.
You see, I have been able to extract a promise out of him. As for Ghana, we are very hospitable. I mean, we can choke you with our friendliness. So if it gets too much, tell us.
No,
we can be very overwhelming. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very lovely time getting some knowledge, being educated by a very experienced veterinary officer with close to 20 years of experience. I know I didn't get to touch on the wildlife part, but see, you know me, I don't forget. I'll catch him at the farm. That would even bring the wildlife home, that discussion home more, and we definitely get all of that. I love you so much, and if you haven't subscribed to the Farming in Africa YouTube channel or are not following us on the other social media platforms, hey, you are missing out, and you will miss out on very educative productions like this when we bring them to you. So please, by all means, do that for us, and we would see you in another video. We love you. Bye-bye. Johan, say bye-bye to my audience for me.
Thanks for the opportunity. Keep well.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.